This is the Aether Firma Irregular update for late November. This is a quick update to explain what I've been working on since the last update, where the project is today, and where it's going in the new year. First things first, apologies for the radio silence and general slow going of the project. Over the past month, a lot of the work has been the kind that doesn't really produce anything shareable, but it's all still very important. I mean, that's not to say that in the past couple of months there's not been anything worth sharing. First off, there was the video on the IP3 Union class ship, which is linked above, and also the interactive star map, which should start to give you some sort of an idea about the world in which Solar Dominion is set. There's also been some intermittent progress shots from various other parts of the game. We showed off the VBU ships for the third human faction and also some of the stuff on space stations. Unfortunately, I only have so much time, and there's often a trade-off between working on stuff that I can show you now versus working on stuff that helps get the game out the door, and it's a really hard balance trying to get that right. So earlier this year, I was hopeful that I'd be able to get the game out the door by Christmas. In case it's not painfully obvious, that's not going to happen unless the Wargaming Fairy flies in and finishes everything for me. This is down to two main reasons. On a personal front, I ended up switching jobs, not entirely my own choice, in the summer. And that, and the reasons that led to that, ate about 3 months of my life in which I got virtually no work done. I'm in a much better place now with a new job that gives me a lot more time to work on stuff, but also a number of the things that I've been working on have taken a lot longer than I'd hoped. One of the major ones has been trying to find a manufacturer. I can do a lot of things, but being able to cast miniatures isn't one of them. Now, a number of these things have been sold, and I'm hesitant to put a date on when things will be ready for further production, but I feel like things are now progressing at a fair clip once again. In terms of progress that I can make on the project, there are four main categories in which progress is being made. The first one is rules, then miniatures, then the simulator, and then package and design. The rules are fundamentally complete, and the most recent round of playtesting has helped hone in on the mechanical balance of the game. As soon as the miniatures are ready, I'll be seeking some external blind playtesters to get other people a feel of the game with real miniatures. So in the very near future, I'll be looking for people to do that playtesting for me, so please keep your eyes peeled. For the miniatures, half the miniatures have been mastered and have been sent off to the mold maker. The other half are currently in the process of being mastered, and as soon as they're ready, they'll get sent off. Unfortunately, I keep running into the limits of the equipment I've got. Whilst home 3D printing has gotten a lot better in the last couple of years, I'm still running up against reliability and detail limits on the equipment I've got. Progress is being made, but it's slow going, and this holds up a lot of what I can do next. The simulator itself has been nearly ready to release for a public beta for a couple of weeks, with only final polishing and little bits of user improvement work to do left. But this last 20% of the work has taken nearly 80% of the time, as it always does. And a lot of this work is stuff I need to do before I can give it to anyone else, because otherwise there's no way of easily playing the game. It is coming to a bit of a head, but I don't want to put any concrete estimates. If I had to give an estimate, maybe weeks. I'm going to get this out by the new year, even if it kills me. And finally, packaging and design work, in which I'm including making the rulebook look like I didn't just write it in Word. And I've basically not started. There's some mock-ups of book covers and box art floating around, but beyond that, it's just in the planning phase. At this point, I'm not even sure if I want a big box. It adds a lot of cost for something that people are just gonna end up throwing away. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how many boxes you've actually kept for wargames like this. At this point, I'd like to point out that there is a hell of a lot of work to be done here, and as much as I hate to admit it, it is just me working on this. This isn't my full-time job, as much as I'd like it to be, and so it has to work around the stuff that does actually pay the bills. Believe me that I am as, if not more, frustrated by the slow going of this project as anyone else. Now, if you hear this and think, what can I do to help? The main thing is to help publicise the game. Share the stuff I post, tell your friends. If you know sympathetic YouTubers or other media people, I'll give my right arm for introductions. This project won't go anywhere without public support, and it's you lot that I have to thank for every ounce of that. So, what comes next? Once the digital version is out the door and the first physical miniatures are in my hands in the new year, I can start focus on prioritising promoting the game and working towards a crowdfunding campaign for the core sets and the rulebook. I'm not planning a huge campaign, and it will mostly be aimed at getting enough money in the door to fund the initial run and get the ball rolling on further expanding the game, to get kits out into people's hands where you can start playing it properly. The digital version, which again should be released in the new year, should really help with promoting the game and also start to generate at least a little bit of income to start help funding getting the rest of the game made. One of the big things that still needs to be done that I can't really do myself is writing fiction for the game. A mix of short vignettes and a few longer short stories for the rulebook and promotional purposes. I have a few leads on writers, but if you know any sci-fi short story writers who might be interested, again, introductions would be hugely appreciated. In terms of timelines, don't want to jinx anything by putting hard dates on stuff, but getting everything ready for a Q2 release feels a little bit ambitious and achievable if everything goes well. Hopefully there'll be more in the way of shareable stuff soon, and if there's anything you'd like to see from me, please let me know and I'll do my best to oblige. So that's that. Hopefully it won't be this long again to the next Irregular update. This is Connor, signing off.